how do you schedule out the day? Oh my goodness, I love this question. I honestly love talking about business operations outside of Amazon. Like obviously, that I try to teach Amazon and strategy there, but I love just talking just, business and life stuff. So I was excited to do my podcast that I released today. For those of you who haven't listened, it's what did I call it? The 6 keys to run your business and your life. And I just talk about some strategies and methods that I use to stay organized and efficient and stuff with my business and life. How I've been scheduling out my day lately, I've been a lot more disciplined the last few weeks with my schedule, and I've kind of had to do this as I've been working on my basement for the last 2 months, just to make sure I have enough time in the day to get everything done. The first thing that I do is I always schedule out my workouts. I'm a huge believer in if you're not taking care of yourself physically, your mental and spiritual side are going to suffer from it as well. So if you're not exercising, if you're not eating well, if you're not, getting sleep, doing what you need to take care of yourself physically, you're going to suffer in the office, you're going to suffer as an entrepreneur at home trying to work on your business. You're going to be tired. You're just going to you're going to be achy. And I'm achy when I work out, but like it's just not good. So I always schedule my workouts. What I've been doing lately has been waking up at 6:15 a.m. I wake up, I do a little bit of morning routine with like some personal meditation kind of stuff. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do cardio in the morning. So today I did cardio. I did 45 minutes biking. It's like I bike like 15 miles. So I do that, or I run for 4 or 5 miles, whatever the cardio is for 45 minutes. I do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 6:30 a.m. And then I do what I've kind of been doing lately, or trying to do at least, is a power 60 in the morning. So before my wife gets up, before my kid gets up, I try to do 60 minutes of deep work, very, very focused work. And I plan it out and I schedule it in Notion so I know what I'm going to do. But whether it's like social media content, fixing crap on my website with the coaching program, recording stuff, I try to do that in the morning. So I've already, regardless of what happens the rest of the day, regardless if stuff comes up, if I gotta run errands, my wife has something and she forgot to tell me that we have to go do, I feel good going to bed that night knowing I got work done. Because as an entrepreneur, like I am responsible for my own income. I don't have a 9 to 5. I have to be responsible for the work I get done. And it's a blessing to be, self-employed, because I have that flexibility to go do stuff with my family, or go grocery shopping, or go to the doctor's office with my wife who's pregnant, like do all those things. But I mentally, I really struggle, and it creates, stress and anxiety in my life if I don't get work done on my businesses. And so I try to do that first thing in the morning. I'll wake up, and on the days that I don't do cardio, so like Tuesday, Thursday, I'll just go straight into like power 60. So I'll wake up, do my little meditation routine, and then get straight to work at 6:37, do that for an hour. So I do my 60 minutes of just deep work, like no distractions, no social media, nothing to distract me, and get work done. Then I know, hey, my wife wakes up, my kid wakes up, make breakfast, I go about my day. I know I've already gotten some good work done. Now, obviously, there's a lot more work to be done every day. But if, hey, the kid wants to go somewhere and play for the day, the pool, we can do that, and I can, feel good about myself. So that's kind of my routine. After that, like after my morning routine, which that's what's like my most consistent routine, is what I do in the morning. I work out in the gym in the afternoon when my son goes down for a nap. That way my wife can have, I try to get my physical activity done, my workouts done, when my wife doesn't have to watch my kid, if that makes sense. So like, for example, 10 a.m., my wife, if I were to go to the gym at 10 a.m., my wife would have to watch Ryan. Ryan would be awake, my 2-year-old, right? So she would have to watch him. And my wife has other responsibilities. My wife has work she has to do and things. So that's why I go do cardio either at 6 a.m. when she's still asleep and Ryan's still asleep, or I go during nap time at 2 o'clock, so that she doesn't have that burden of watching Ryan while I'm at the gym, if that makes sense. So that's when I plan my workouts. Is Taylor has her alone time. She can get work done if she needs to, right? She doesn't feel like, what the crap, you're at the gym and I have to watch Ryan, but I also got to get this work done. So that's kind of my workout, I guess, routine. And then other than that, I schedule my day in Notion and Google Calendar. Like, I'm a religious user of Google Calendar, and I use Notion to kind of do my to-do list, schedule podcast episodes, plan out tasks. I prioritize them. I set a timer. Huge fan of the timer. If you are not a timer user, I would highly recommend it. It will change your life. I promise you. It's kind of like the philosophy of, you don't feel like working out until you actually set foot in the gym. Like, if you don't feel like working out, like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't don't want to go to the gym. Set foot in the gym. Like actually stepping into the gym, or even if that's stepping out of your front door, like taking that first action makes the next one so much easier. Because by the time you step in the gym, you will be in the mood to work out. I mean, more in the mood to work out than you were sitting on your couch. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with a timer. I gotta, looking up at my list right here, I gotta plan out July podcast episodes. That's sitting here on my to-do list. I don't want to do that. Or whatever your to-do list item is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to message suppliers. I need to come up with my branding kit. I don't want to do it. Like it's tedious and I'm not in the mood to do it. Sit down in your chair and start your timer and just set it for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Say, I'm going to do this for 20 minutes. I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set my timer and start it. And let me show you guys. This will be fun. Let me show you my little desktop timer here. I use this little timer right here. It's called AS Timer. It's a free app in the like Mac OS store. I do this every time I do any task. I set my timer depending on how long I think the task is going to take me. Usually I max it at 30 because I'll stand up and take a 5-minute break. But I'll set it 20, press start, and it's right there. And it's locked on your screen too. So if I were to like open Windows, it still shows. You see what I'm saying? So I can like have stuff open here and I can still see my timer. So it doesn't really inhibit my work. And it literally just chills right there in the top of my screen. So I work and work and work and do my stuff. And when the timer goes off, if I'm not done with my task, I take a 5-minute break. I stand up, get a drink, go to the bathroom, do whatever, come back, sit down, start my timer again. But what I've realized in using a timer is I get so much more done in so much quicker time, if that makes sense. Because again, like a task, like I got to plan out July's podcast episodes. Oh, that feels so daunting. I got to, what is that? 8 episodes, 10 episodes. I got to figure out what I'm going to talk about. I got to plan them out. I got to write out the notes for them. That feels like a daunting task. That's going to take me 4 hours. Like I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. But you realize once you set timers for tasks and you like repetitive tasks, especially, you start to realize how quickly you can actually do tasks. Because otherwise you don't know. Like maybe you plan out July's podcast episodes without a timer. Like I sit down and I start planning out my episodes and I'm done. And I stand up and I walk away. If I didn't have a timer, I would have no idea how long I spent. Because maybe I'm in here, maybe I'm in my office for 2 hours. But I was looking at Instagram and I was doing other tasks and I was trying to, multitask and answer emails and plan and do all this crap. So in my mind, when I walk out and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock. It took me 2 hours to plan July's podcast episodes, but it actually didn't. It took me 11 minutes. I just didn't time it. So I wasn't aware of how long it actually took. So a timer is a great thing for that reason too, is it helps you get immediately focused. Because it's like, boom, it's like starting the clock in your basketball game. Like the clock is running. Like the game is going to end in 20 minutes. I gotta get to work. So it gets you focused, but then it also helps you realize like, oh my gosh, I still have 12 minutes left on my timer and I'm done with July's podcast episodes. That only took me 8 minutes. So then next time when you have to do that task for August, I'm like, dude, I can bust that out in 10 minutes. And it makes it's so much easier to get motivated to do tasks. So that's what I would say. I do that every day. Like when I work on stuff, I set my timer. And for tasks that I've already done before, like plan July's podcast episodes, I know how long it's going to take. So in Notion, I make a little note in this timer section how much time I need to plan out for that. So then so here's the other cool thing about doing this too. And you can use Notion, you can use Google Sheets, doesn't really matter. When you have your to-do list of all your stuff. I got to message 3 suppliers. I got to reach out to my graphic designer, like pretending you're working on your Amazon business or applying this to Amazon. All the things you got to do. You put it in your Google Sheet or Notion or whatever you use to stay organized. And you have a column for your timer and you put in your time. So like, okay, message suppliers, 15 minutes. And you're just going to boom, sit down, message suppliers until the timer goes off. Do 5, do 50, doesn't matter. You're just going to just crush it while your timer's going. You enter in all your timer stuff and then you realize you're like, oh my gosh, I have 8 things on my to-do list to get done today or maybe tomorrow, today and tomorrow. But in your timer column on Google Sheets, you total the column and you see, like I'm just looking at mine, for example, the sum of my timer minutes column is 135 minutes. So in 2 hours, I don't want to script this math, in 2 hours and 15 minutes, I can get all of these tasks done on my to-do list. That's not very long. 2 hours and 15 minutes, I could finish all these tasks. But if I didn't do the timer method, I would look at all these tasks and be like, holy crap, that's gonna take me forever. This is gonna take me a week. I'm not gonna be able to get this done today. And then you never start. You get discouraged, you get stressed, all that pressure starts to build. So my speech for today on that, use a timer. It will change your life. Promise you. But yeah, that's kind of how I schedule my day. Google Calendar, Notion, timer, physical activity. Seriously, like I'm a huge believer in that's the key. Getting up early makes a huge difference. I went through a big phase. I go through phases. I go through phases where I wake up really early. I go phases where I sleep in. I was in a phase of sleeping in for a while. I don't know. Maybe that's because I had an 18-month-year-old and I don't know. I was tired, but I don't know. Waking up early with purpose is just a game changer. Like waking up early without purpose, you're tired in the afternoon. But when I wake up early with purpose, I rarely get tired in the afternoon. Like I could wake up at 6 a.m. and bike 15 miles and feel fine the rest of the day. But I sleep in till 8 and don't exercise. And by noon, I'm like ready to crash and want to take a nap. I don't know. There's just like something about waking up and doing very purposeful activity early in the day that it just kind of gives you that confidence boost and that satisfaction to carry you through the rest of the day. Just immediately sets the mood for the rest of the day of I've done something productive today and I've gotten crap done. So waking up, doing some sort of physical activity, and then getting deep work done early, it just changes your mindset for the rest of the day. On days where I don't work out in the morning and I do my afternoon lifting, I'll go on a walk. So that's kind of part of like my morning routine. I'll wake up, do my meditation, reading stuff, and then I'll just go for a walk and I'll put my headphones in. I'll listen to a podcast. And usually I'll listen to, if I have one of my podcasts out, I listen to it because I like to listen to myself because I'm full of myself. No, I'm just kidding. I like to listen to myself. So I like to see, first of all, did I sound like an idiot in that episode? And second of all, it just helps me be better for the next episode, right? Like, so I listen to my episode, see if it turned out pretty good or okay, make mental notes of like, I got to fix that or do this better next time, or, that episode kind of sucked or that one was good. Maybe I can do more of that. Or I listen to podcasts of other people. So I listen to self-improvement podcasts, all sorts of podcasts on my morning walks around the neighborhood just to get the blood flow, get the body awake early in the morning so that I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. and being like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Because don't get me wrong, I am tired when my alarm goes off. And I don't want to like wake up at 6 a.m., turn off my alarm, and then like sit in my office and be like this, like half asleep, like trying to get work done. So my walk is like, wake me up, like get outside, walk for a mile, listen to something, get the blood flowing. So when I come back and sit down to work, I'm actually awake.